నమస్తే తెలుగువారి మనస్సాక్షి సాక్షికి స్వాగతం. ఐఎమ్ ప్రియా గోటేటి. వెల్కమ్ టు ఇమిగ్రేషన్ టాక్ షో విత్ అంతర్జాతీయ న్యాయవాది డాక్టర్ శ్రీనివాస్ కవేటి గారు ఫ్రమ్ కవేటి లా ఫర్మ్స్. సో మనకి తెలిసింది చాలా మందికి తెలుసు కూడా కవేటి గారికి ఆంధ్రాలో, బెంగళూరులో, ఇండియాలోనే కాకుండా యుఎస్ఏ, యూకే, కెనడా ఇట్లా చాలా చోట్ల ఆయనకి చాలా ఆఫీసెస్ ఉన్నాయి. అండ్ ఆయన యుఎస్ఏ ఇమిగ్రేషన్ లానే కాకుండా యూకేలో కూడా ఆయన ఇంగ్లీష్ సొలిసిటర్ కింద కూడా వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. అండ్ చాలా మందికి ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ గా కానీ లేకపోతే స్టూడెంట్స్ రావాలనుకున్నా కానీ వాళ్ళ లా ఫర్మ్స్ కానీ గైడెన్స్ కానీ ఆయన ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. సో ఈ రోజు మనం ఈ మధ్య ఇప్పుడు H1B బాగా టాపిక్ కదా. ఈ ఫిబ్రవరి మార్చ్ వచ్చిందంటే అందరికీ కూడా H1Bs ఫైలింగ్ ఎట్లా జరుగుతుంది, లాటరీ సిస్టమ్ ఏంటి అనేది బాగా టాక్ జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో కవేటి గారు, మీరు మొన్ననే యూకే కూడా వెళ్ళేసి వచ్చారు కదా. సో ఏదైనా వీసాలో ఫైలింగ్స్ లో తేడా ఉంటుందా? ఇక్కడైతే యుఎస్ లో H1 మార్చ్ అనగానే H1 మీద బాగా ఫోకస్ ఉంటుంది. యూకేలో కూడా అలా ఏమైనా ఈ టైంలోనే H1s ఉంటాయి, వర్క్ వీసాస్ ఈ టైంలోనే ఫైల్ చేయాలి అన్నట్టు ఏమైనా ఉంటుందా?
లేదండి, యూకేలో అట్లాంటిది ఏం లేదు. బికాజ్ ది యూకేలో H1B వీసా అనేది ఉండదు. బికాజ్ H1B ఈజ్ ఏ కేటగిరీ ఇన్ ఇమిగ్రేషన్ లో ఇక్కడ యుఎస్ లో. అండ్ యూకేలో ఇట్స్ కాల్డ్ టియర్ వీసాస్, టియర్ 1, టియర్ 2 అని. అంటే ఇట్స్ సేమ్ టైప్ స్పెషలైజ్డ్ ఆక్యుపేషనే. ఇక్కడ లాగానే ఇట్స్ ది American immigration law is based on UK immigration law. See, most of the times, if you see, Andy, all over the world, Great Britain has ruled all over the world, kada. So when they went with their law, and when they left the country, they left the law as well. So what happened is, if you see in America, if you see parts of Canada, or even India and Australia, New Zealand, they ruled the world, kada. So they left that immigration law. So they picked up the same thing, and they made some small changes in immigration laws locally. It's basically mostly same, but the beauty is UK law, they can file round the year. There is no quota system, Pilaga. And there's nothing like a lottery system, which is another beautiful thing. And if you have a company, if you see there is a bona fide job offer, you can apply anytime. And you can get a work permit online law adanta. And there's no interview, just like in US. The employer files an application and you get an approval. And once you get an approval, you give it to the employee. They go and get your SIN number, social security number, they call it a SIN number. So they go and get it and they accept the job and they're on the rolls. So akada, I mean, it's expensive. Ikalaga kadu, because in UK, because the government takes care of your health, it's mandatory that you have to pay insurance fees. National Healthcare System law, you have to pay insurance fees. That itself is very, very high, goes in thousands of pounds. Basic immigration fees is very small. Akada immigration, they call it as a home office. So, but it's very expensive. The solicitor's charges are very minimum, but the insurance fees and other fees are a little higher. I mean, people are charging high money and for a 1 tier 2 visa, people are charging 25 to 26,000 pounds, and together 30 lakhs. So somebody who studied MS or Akadagoda, you can also get work permit just like US, OPT, CPTs. There's no CPT, but OPT on the post education work permit, post work permit, and post work study permit, post study work permit, PSW. So yes, there are some changes, but most of it is same. But there's nothing like March law. We have to file a lottery and wait for the lottery at Landhimbe. There's no quota system. So that is the beauty of that country. And the other beauty is, if you're on a work permit for minimum 5 years, then you can apply for your permanent residency. Akada manam, we call it as a green card in this country, and in Canada we call permanent residency, and same in Canada, Australia. But in UK they call indefinite to leave under. So the beauty is, if you are on a work permit for 5 years on your own, you can apply for your own green card by yourself. You don't need any company to sponsor you. That is the beauty. Andukani, most of our Indians, when they go there, and most of the foreigners, when they finish their masters there, they get a couple of years of post study work permit. And although if they continue to live there for 5 years on a tier 2 visa, and after 5 years they can apply for their indefinite to leave, which is a green card. And once you become a permanent resident or a green card holder, then you can automatically qualify to file a citizenship. And most of them are staying back when they go. See, that is a beauty. Not like America, 15 years, 20 years, we're waiting for an H1B. That is a frustration in America.
యా సో కవేటి గారు, మీకు యూకే లండన్ లో కూడా ఆఫీసెస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇది H1B ఇప్పుడు అయితే ఇక్కడ సీజన్, H1B కాకుండా మీరు అసైలమ్స్ అవి కూడా ఫైల్ చేస్తుంటారు కదా యూకేలో వాటిల్లో కూడా?
యా, ఇప్పుడు అసైలం అనేది బికాజ్ ఇట్స్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ థింగ్, అంటే శరణాగతి, దట్ you are coming to this country or you're going to any country, but there you have to prove to the government saying that you have a threat. When you go, you will be prosecuted or you will be killed. You have to show that fear. So you can apply for asylum in UK, America, anywhere, even Canada, anywhere. But the thing is, most of the time these days what's happening, these students who are coming, and those who take work permit and they're working, they go and make an application, Maak Asylum Kavala. Those are all frivolous petitions and fake applications. So merit lenivi deny avutadi. Once they deny, they'll put you on a removal, deportation. So one has to be careful when you're filing an asylum. And we do assess clients, but only meritorious clients aithane chestam cheyu. And they should be a really bona fide undali, fear anedi.
Got it. సో ఇందాక మనం మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నాం, లైక్ మార్చ్ వచ్చింది అంటే H1B సీజన్. సో ఈరోజు మన టాపిక్ కూడా H1B ప్రాసెసింగ్ అండ్ RFEs గురించి. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద H1B టైమ్ లైన్స్, లైక్ వెన్ ఇట్ స్టార్ట్స్ అండ్ వెన్ ఇట్ ఎండ్స్?
ఇప్పుడు now they said in March 7th they're opening the doors for filing a application. అంటే మీకు random selection కోసము the companies will file an application. And that application ends on 25th of March. They're saying that April 1st week lo తీస్తారు 30th ki, and we would know whether in the lottery system law in selection whether application has been picked up. That's one thing. And that's number one. Number two, ఇప్పుడు from the last time to this time, last time ante వచ్చేసి there was only $10 for the registration fees. ఇప్పుడు they made $210. ఇప్పుడు $215, I'm sorry. ఇప్పుడు చేశారు. And the basic H1B fees are all same, but there's some changes. Anyway.
So lottery అన్నారు కదా, when the immigration will pick up the lottery?
30th కంటున్నారు, March 30th కి, and they might take it on first week of April. ఇప్పుడు నార్మల్ గా from last 2 years if you see, they picked up twice. ఎందుకంటే first time when they picked up, and some companies they did not file, and they said no. And let's say somebody's application is picked up and the employee intends not to sponsor or offer him a job or a job, or the employee might say, okay, I've given an application to another company, I would rather want to file from that company. Allow Jarini. So there's some left out. So the immigration went and picked up again. So atla isar kuda jargochu. Because of Trump administration now, I see that that might happen, because this time Trump garu emanarante that it will be strict enforcement. And if you thought a job offer, don't do it. That is a catch. And for the employees also, you have to check it out. Who is the bona fide employer? Whether you have a real job, office lo project unda, lepothe any client is there. Only bona fide job offer applied. That's what my recommendation is.
So Kaveti garu, when you are saying like bona fide job offer, like in layman terminology, is it like client letter that we are talking about?
Well, see, there are some companies, they also develop products kada. They develop products on their own, and they also develop some apps for clients. Is there a project? Is there a work, bona fide work on that? And let's say in the company, in-house law, do they have a set of people? Do they have real job, or are they just filing it? Are they bona fide job offer?
Got it. Got it.
Sometimes your technology might be so hard, maybe two companies might want to offer you a job. But last time, I mean, anybody who filed 2 to 3 applications, they said misrepresentations and multiple registrations, ani, they revoked the visas, kada? And they
Mm.
also canceled the visas for employers, and some employers have been audited. Chala అయినవి. And some people, H1s are also being cancelled. Some people who got visas and came back, their visas have been cancelled, H4s have been cancelled. Sometimes people in India, when they go to the embassy, akkada kuda, they have been cancelled. Revocation of visa, which is rescinding, cancellation. So once the visa is cancelled, it is a penalty. You cannot come back again. So అవి జాగ్రత్తగా చూసుకోవాలి this time also. And the other thing is, check out the background of the company and take a bona fide job offer and then apply.
So usually people will apply for 2 or 3 applications, correct? So right now they cannot apply for multiple H1 applications.
అంటే టూ చేసుకోవచ్చు అన్నారు. దట్ టు బోనఫైడ్ జాబ్ ఆఫర్ అంటే చేయొచ్చు అన్నారు. బోనఫైడ్ జాబ్ ఆఫర్ అంటే ఐ మీన్ యువర్ టెక్నాలజీ ఈజ్ ఇన్ డిమాండ్, దే హ్యావ్ సమ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్, అట్లా చూసుకొని చేయాలి. అండ్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్స్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఇస్ మన ఎంప్లాయీస్ దే గివ్ మనీ టు సో మెనీ ఎంప్లాయర్స్ అండ్ గెట్ ఇట్. డోంట్ డూ దోస్ థింగ్స్. అట్లా.
Okay. And what are the key things that the employer should make note of, like when filing this H1B?
ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ చెక్ ఇట్ అవుట్ వెదర్ ది ఎంప్లాయీస్ వీసా హస్ బీన్ క్యాన్సిల్ ఇన్ ద లాస్ట్. ఇంతకుముందు వాళ్ళు మల్టిపుల్ అప్లికేషన్స్ పెట్టారా? అండ్ టూ, check it out whether the employee has got a bona fide employment experience or is it a fictitious one. And number 3, the education certificates, are they real or genuine, not the fake ones? Experience koda. Do all of that search by the employer. And employees can't, they have to check out the employer's background, whether they're blacklisted. If you see the department of website, labor website, you see there are some employees who are blacklisted. Adi chuskoవాలి. And check it out whether the employer has a physical premises in America. Most of the times what they're doing, they have a premises in India, they're running businesses from America. Website lo pertaru, they don't even have an office location. There's a phone number, the phone rings in India. Things like that. Check it out. Let your friends go and visit that employer. See whether the employer is in business or not. అలాంటివన్నీ చూసుకోవాలండి.
Okay. So do we have any cap changes?
No caps, 65,000.
Okay.
They only change some fees structure లో చేంజ్ చేశారు అంతే.
Okay. And H1B తో పాటు asylum fees కూడా ఏదైనా ఇంటర్-రిలేటెడ్ ఉందా?
ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేశారంటే ఫ్రమ్ లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ they've added asylum fees to the employees who are అంటే H1 ఫైల్ చేసే వాళ్ళకి. Before there was an anti-fraud fees, there was ACWA fees, there was a basic I-129 fees ఉండేది. From last year they added asylum fees అని. ఎందుకు? Because when Biden has allowed all these guys coming into the country, the beauty ఏంటంటే asylum file చేసినప్పుడు there is no processing fees. It's free actually. You fill up a form and fill it and send it to the immigration. But it is burdening the immigration kadandi. So what they have done is they have said, okay, you have to pay asylum fees for కొన్ని categories of visa కు asylum fees మన దగ్గర కలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు, కార్పొరేట్ ఇమిగ్రేషన్ దగ్గర, ఎంప్లాయర్ దగ్గర కలెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. Actually that's a burden. Why an employer has to pay for an asylum fees? But nobody has challenged it కదా. But I'm hiring an individual for an H1B IT programmer. What I have got to do with asylum? But they're also charging asylum fees for certain categories. For L1 gani, for H1 gani, some categories. That's called asylum fees. They've added it.
Okay. So anything that is different on this H1B filing? So before we move into RFEs, ఏదైనా H1B గురించి అయినా చెప్పాలనుకున్నారా? Like different గా ఏమైనా ఫైలింగ్ జరుగుతుందా ఈ ఇయర్?
ఏం లేదు. I mean, after it's picked up, the employer has got 60 days to file an H1B. If that is all, అంటే ఒకవేళ if the quota is not fulfilled or filled, they will do another one. Couple of times last time తీశారు lottery లో. So people have had an opportunity to file until October, November da kuda file చేశారు H1s. See, this time in Trump administration, people have to be aware of is that there are going to be a lot of site inspections. Compliance is going to be there. Ante enti, even, I mean, the employer దగ్గరకు వచ్చి they might visit employer's premises, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, fraud and anti-fraud investigation. That's number one. All the employers should be aware of this. Number two, when they go for visa stamping, there's a possibility that they would rigorously interview the employee. అవి రెండు చూసిన తర్వాతనే they will stamp the visa అండి. So these are the things one must be careful. ఇది.
ఓకే. సో కవిటిగా ఈ మధ్య చూస్తున్నాం స్టూడెంట్స్ కి కూడా RFEs బాగా పడుతున్నాయి. సో వాటి గురించి ఏం చెప్తారు?
See, first of all, one must understand what is RFE అంటే. ఇందులో request for further evidence, RFE అంటే. See, we must understand immigration ఎప్పుడైనా when they're examining a file, when the examiner, immigration examiners అంటే case workers ఉంటారు కదా, let's say when you file an H1B, they're looking at, they have a checklist next to them. వాళ్ళు approval చేసేటం. They will look at the checklist and the documents if they are missing, it's a preliminary వాళ్ళు మనకు request for further evidence అడుగుతారు. And that means the list which they have in front of them when they're approving H1, that information is missing preliminary application. Whether it is an H1B or an L1 or any other R1, P3 or even H1 OPTs. Missing information అప్పుడు అడుగుతారు వాళ్ళు. That's one thing. And they'll give you a deadline. Sometimes they give you a 30 days deadline, sometimes they give you 60 days. Adi, it cannot be extended. You cannot extend. If you don't respond within that particular time, the application gets denied. And if you forget or if you don't submit, that amounts to abandonment, application gets denied. Once the application gets denied, if you're on a F1, that means you are out of status. H1 lo ఒకవేళ deny చేస్తే you don't have a visa. So one has to be careful of RFEs. But రెండోది, there is another prompt test for this in the auditing of the immigration officers. It's called NOID, Notice to Intent to Deny. Ante emti, a lot of students are getting that. What does it mean? They are seeing that when they're auditing, this is the first audit. Notice to Intent to Deny ante, the officer already made it in mind that I'm going to deny this application because the basic information is missing or లేకపోతే బోనఫైడ్ లేదో, సో మేబీ ది ఆఫీసర్ థింక్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ fulfilling the eligibility or criteria, they can do a NOID. NOID is a tougher case to prove manaki. Ante if in terms of initial OPT or STEM OPT, appudu I would definitely recommend your viewers to approach a competent immigration lawyer close to you guys and take the assistance of lawyers. Don't do it by yourself. అది నోయిడ్ అంటారు. సో దానికి కూడా డెడ్ లైన్ ఇస్తారు, 30 days to 60 days. యూ హ్యావ్ టు రెస్పాండ్ దిస్ విత్ ఎవిడెన్సెస్. ఇక్కడ ద బ్యూటీ ఏంటంటే ఇమిగ్రేషన్ లాలో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ లైక్ క్రిమినల్ లా దట్ ది ఇమిగ్రేషన్ ఆఫీసర్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ లుకింగ్ ఎట్ బియాండ్ రీజనబుల్ డౌట్ కాదు. ద ప్రెపాండరెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎవిడెన్స్ అంటారు. అంటే కొంచెం ఎవిడెన్స్ క్లియర్గా కన్విన్సింగ్ ఇస్తే సరిపోతుంది. ది ఆఫీసర్స్ లుక్ ఇన్ టు ఆల్ యువర్ అఫిడవిట్సే కానీ, మీరు ఇచ్చిన ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషనే కానీ, పబ్లిక్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. సమ్టైమ్స్ ద ఇమిగ్రేషన్ ఆస్క్ ఫర్ ఇన్కార్పొరేషన్ సర్టిఫికేట్ ఆఫ్ అన్ ఎంప్లాయర్, అది పబ్లిక్ డొమైన్లోకి తీసివచ్చు. సమ్టైమ్స్ దేర్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఈఐఎన్ నంబర్, అది కూడా ఇట్స్ కమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ IRS, అది కూడా తీసేయచ్చు. ఇట్లా కొన్ని ఇప్పుడు ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కొన్ని అడుగుతారు కంపెనీకి సంబంధించిన. డూ యూ హ్యావ్ అ లీజ్, అదొకటి H1Bలలో, ఆర్ డూ యూ హ్యావ్ అ ట్యాక్స్ రిటర్న్స్ ఆర్ పే చెక్స్, ఇలాంటి ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే ఫర్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ద మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద క్వశ్చన్ దే ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఈజ్, ఇప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే కోవిడ్ టైం నుంచి మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు స్కూల్, దే ఆర్ వర్కింగ్, స్టడీయింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ హోమ్ రిమోట్లో. దే వాంట్ టు నో వెదర్ యూ పేడ్ ద స్కూల్ ఫీజ్, వెదర్ యూ ఆర్ రియలీ గోయింగ్ టు క్లాసెస్, వెదర్ యూ హ్యావ్ అటెండెడ్ ఎనీ క్లాసెస్, ఎప్పుడైనా వెళ్ళారా స్కూల్కి, ఆర్ ఆర్ యూ జస్ట్ వర్కింగ్. దే వాంట్ టు నో దోస్ థింగ్స్. ఇలాంటివన్నీ వాళ్ళు అడుగుతారు. యూ హ్యావ్ టు బోనఫైడ్లీ షో దెమ్ how did you pay your school fees? And did you work here somewhere and paid? They're asking for your bank statements. And the immigration is looking whether you brought the money from your home country or you're depositing every week 300 to 400, 500 and paying the school fees. And they want to see whether you worked in the country unauthorized. ఇలాంటివన్నీ చూస్తున్నారు. And they want to see whether you got transcripts pass అయ్యారా లేదా. And wait, ఇప్పుడు if you're depositing money in your bank statement every week ఉంటుంది, లేదా ఎప్పుడో ఒకసారి పేరెంట్స్ తెప్పించుకున్నారు, those bank transactions will be there from India or even loan. So they're looking at all of this Sunday. And but most of the time students, they do mistake. They're going to deposit the money in the bank account. Even then they will find out, okay, you've been working in the country. That's against the law. And
So
if you're
Kaveti,
working in the school, that's nothing. But if you're working outside, that's illegal. Kada? So all of that.
yeah.
So these things are required when you're answering these questions.
సో కవిటి ఇందాక మీరు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇనిషియల్ ఓపీటీ స్టెమ్ ఓపీటీ అన్నారు. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ఇనిషియల్ అండ్ స్టెమ్ ఓపీటీ?
Okay, once you graduate in this country with a master's, you have a right to work, kada? Initial ga. So then you can get automatically 1 year. Okay, OPT serving, occupational training laga. Teeskochu meeru work authorization. And 1 year tarvata, then if you're in a STEM program, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, you can get another 2 years. Ipudu, let's say somebody came to America, did an LLM program. LLM program ante Masters of Law. Andulo STEM program kaadu kada. So you only get 1 year of work permit. You can't get 2 years of OPT. Enduku it's a STEM program kaadu. Ipudu alage, for example, if somebody is a master's in computer science, so they finish their master's, so they get a 1 year initial OPT, and then because it's part of the STEM program, it comes from science, technology, mathematics and engineering, you can apply additional for another 2 years. So that is STEM OPT antaru. So there are two types of OPTs.
So Kaveti garu, like before you are explaining like NOID and RFE and we need to provide request of evidence. So ownership would be on the employer or it will be on the employee? Like who should provide the evidence?
Employee, because sometimes when you file an H1B, the immigration asks some information about the employer. Appudu employer ivali. Sometimes some information is asked about the employee. For example, me paychecks vachaya, tax returns kattara of the employee. So if the immigration asks that, seeks that information, you have to give it. Adi on the H1B la. Ipudu CPT, OPT లలో the most of the question they're asking is whether you graduated, whether you finished your study within the stipulated time, whether you paid the fees, whether you succeeded in your exams, whether you got good RFE la మంచి మార్క్స్ వచ్చాయా, చేశారు, ఇవన్నీ they're looking at all of that. So it's all, the immigration is looking at, this is called audit antaru danni. This is auditing your file. They're auditing before they approve your case. So ఇది careful గా హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి RFEs, and you have to give bona fide గా, don't give fake certifications, don't give fake bank statements, don't give fake pay stubs and tax returns, because if they verify tomorrow and they come to know that you've given a fake documentation, then you will not only be arrested, it's a cheating and fraud on the federal government. Me H1 కాదు, మీ స్టూడెంట్ వీసా కూడా క్యాన్సిల్ అవ్వచ్చు. They can send you back, you could be arrested, and you will never come back to US. So ఇవన్నీ కూడా, these are all very serious steps అండి, during the time of immigration process.
Okay. So if our RFE or NOID, if it gets denied or something, can we have the right to appeal?
Yes. Once, for example, if it is meritorious, for example, you provided them some information to the immigration did not appreciate it. ఒక్కోసారి మిస్అప్లికేషన్ చేసింది, అంటే ఫ్యాక్ట్సే కానీ అవి లోనే, అప్పుడు yes, you have a motion to reopen. It's also called appeal or motion to reopen. అంటే ఏంటి, you can also file within 30 days of denial. You can apply, అంటే appeal చేసుకోవచ్చు. First, second, third, అక్కడ there are some tiers. ఆ tiers లో మీరు అప్లికేషన్ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. Yes. And there's a fees, and the employees has to give some a sworn statement, and the attorneys have to give some memorandum of law. It's like an appeal. It's a very serious thing. because that's a last opportunity you have. So file చేసుకోవచ్చు, definitely yes.
ఓకే. సార్ మనం H1B మార్చ్‌లో అలా ఫైల్ చేస్తుంటాం కదా! సో, ఇది మనకి లాటరీలో పిక్ అయిందనుకోండి, దీని మీద కూడా ఆర్ఎఫ్ఈస్ పడతాయా? లైక్ ఆఫ్టర్
RFEs,
పికింగ్?
yeah, ఎప్పుడైనా పడొచ్చండి. RFEs, the immigration can do the audit any time అండి. Sometimes there are cases after the approval also they will ask for clarifications. కొన్నిసార్లు immigration will also do the site inspection after the approval also. Ante at any stage they can ask for information. There are some cases, but last year lot of H1Bs have been approved, lot of the clients have been working. But ikkadiki vachi H1 lo vachi they've been working with their wife and children, and ikkada kuda students lo unna vallu H1 vachindi, they were been working. Suddenly they got a letter from the immigration saying that we want to revoke your visa. Enduku? Because your employer filed multiple applications. అని కూడా ఎంతో మంది వీసాలు క్యాన్సిల్ చేశారు, and they had to leave the country with their wife and children. Sad part. And
ఓకే.
some challenge those decisions, but this has happened.
ఓకే. సో, లైక్ వాట్ వుడ్ బి లైక్ ప్రికాషన్స్ దట్ ద ఎంప్లాయర్స్ ఆర్ ఎంప్లాయీస్ షుడ్ టేక్ ఆన్ దిస్ H1Bs and RFEs?
First of all, Andy, if anything comes, please don't neglect them. Get in touch with the lawyers, or if there's any employer, for example, if there's an H1B RFE వస్తే, ask the employer to address them and talk to their lawyers. Most of the time, see, employees ki access ఉండదు employer lawyer ki, but ask them, find out, and if there's any information requested on behalf of employee, give them information. Make sure that the lawyer responds to that within the time. Adokati. రెండోది, if it is students, get that RFE downloaded, read them, understand them, and find out what are the information they're asking. Get in touch with your lawyers, give those information, and make sure that the lawyer files the responses with the immigration within stipulated time. Our stipulation time lo cheyakapothe you will become illegal. So that's very important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kaveti Garu, for sharing all your insights on H1Bs and RFEs. And viewers, please note that this information provided is just for a general purpose only. It's not a legal advice. So Sakshi TV or its agents are not responsible for use of this information. If you need any special legal advice, please contact the attorney directly, Kaveti Garu, and he has lot of offices in Andhra, India, Bangalore, Canada, Delhi, chala places lo unnai. UK law kuda chestar aina. సో మీకు ఏమైనా లీగల్ అడ్వైస్ కావాలి అనుకుంటే ఆర్ఎఫ్ఈస్ మీద కానీ H1B ప్రాసెసింగ్ కానీ కవిటి లా ఫర్మ్స్ ని రీచ్ అవుట్ అవ్వండి. అండ్ దిస్ ఇస్ ప్రియా కోటేటి సైనింగ్ ఆఫ్. యూఆర్ వాచింగ్ సాక్షి మనస్సాక్షి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.